Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Dialers with the Tactics. In this video, I'm going to answer that question that everybody asks. How do I gear so-and-so? Right? That is, the game's been out for, 3 months? Longer than that if you include soft launch. And still, the most popular questions ever asked anywhere still seems to be, how do I gear Karma? How do I gear Bailey? How do I gear such and such? So what I've been doing is I've been building a spreadsheet, trying to give you guys a general direction on where you should take or how you should develop a character, and as well then including links on that goes over a video and audio description of how to gear them, as well as footage for that character in certain game modes where they excel, how you should use them, blah, 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 blah. So, no way to beat around the bush on this one. Let's just take you right to it. So, a lot of content creators have spreadsheets. I haven't seen one like this. There may be something out there, but here's what I'm building. So, the link for my Eternal Evolution spreadsheets is in the description of this video, as well as some of my newer videos. And what I've effectively done is I've taken using a visual representation. I can't really blow this up because these the icons don't scale with the as you blow up the page and shrink the page. So basically what I've done is I've put in a visual representation of the character, so you can kind of just scroll through. And right now I have every character in the game. Just scroll through. I even have 2 empty spots for the new ones that are coming out tomorrow. You can scroll through, find your character, and I've given a general guide on how you should gear them. So let's just look at Maserati up here, right? Or let's look at Oak. So unfortunately the view is really small, but you guys can probably still navigate this spreadsheet. So if we're looking at Oak, right here is all the types of gear, right? Hands, head, feet, weapon, chest, legs. Up top is the type. So Vig would be vigorous. Right, if you look over here, Vig, if you look at Maserati, it's abundant. Signet, overload, if I'm looking over here at Falvia. So the type of gear for that piece, and then the main stat you should probably shoot for on that piece, regardless of type, and then the substats that you should look for on that piece of gear. Now, keep in mind, so if we take someone like Falvia, right, up here. So I have her as hands, signet, head, overload, feet, signet, and then overload. You can mix and match those to fit your character depending on the main stats, really, because the main stats are going to be what's more important. But basically, like for Falvia, I'm saying you have to run 1 Sun Signet set and 2 Overload sets, because those are both 2-piece sets, right? But the main thing you want to go for, and so you can mix and match. You don't have to have a Signet hands if you have a Overload hands that has crit chance main stat. Now, for most of these damage dealing characters, the main stat is going to be crit chance, and the reason why, and you don't have to have crit chance, but on all those characters, I'm shooting for about 75% crit chance or crit rate. If you can get amazing substats where you don't need to run a crit rate main stat on your hands, you can flip that out with a crit damage, right? Just make sure that generally for damage dealers, you want to have 75% crit. Now, that is the most basic use of this spreadsheet. So every character, the type of gear, your main stat, and your substats that you want to look for on that piece of gear. Now, like, again, we're going to pick on Falvia. Since it's crit rate main stat, you'll see that there is no crit rate percentage substat, because keep in mind, too, that if your main stat can never show up again in the substats. So, but if this was a crit damage hands, then you could get a crit rate secondary on your hands. So you have to keep that in mind. And again, feel free to ask questions anytime. The link for my Discord is also in the description. Now, characters that have like an orange box, those are characters like, this is Luke up top here. These are characters that you can gear multiple ways, and there's a bunch. So like Muka, you can gear him multiple ways. Rakana, Randall. These are just how I'm gearing them currently at endgame. But there are different builds. Sometimes there are different builds depending on how early or how developed your character is. Like Leo is an example of a character like you see me here. My Leo right here. He's in 2 hero sets, 1 vigorous set, right? You should have all vigorous sets if he's underdeveloped, and then you could go to all hero sets if he's at endgame. So there's a lot of subtlety in this, but this will give you a starting point to go for. So again, keep in mind, like look at Artis up here. Artis has right now I'm advocating for the tank set, but there are other ways to gear Artis depending on your content in game that you're using him in. If you're using him in Guild Hunt, you're gonna want to have him in Gluttony sets, right? So those are things that you can ask me if you want more clarification. And also, one thing that I'm going about adding is you see a lot of these characters have a hyperlink. So if we just take Crete, right? So if you mouse over the hyperlink, you see that my video for how to build Crete pops up. So like you can just go down here and there you see me chit-chatting away. In that video, I'm also going to discuss how to gear him. I'm going to show you the gear, and I'm also going to show you areas of the game where he excels at. So this spreadsheet right here should have everything you're looking for, or it'll give you a good starting point at least for how to build every character in the game with video links if you're a video type person. Now this Eternal Evolution spreadsheet also has other things, like here's where I'm tracking a free-to-play account weekly events where I go over everything you need to know about the first 5 weeks of the game. As you see, I'm only up to week 4, which is the Mazrani. Like right here, it shows you exactly how many limited and advanced tickets I've gotten to this point. If you want to think about, do I hold for week 4? Do I spend them all in week 2, etc., etc., etc. And then also on this spreadsheet is my tier list, which I'm trying to keep updated for every month. So this is the tier list as of January 31st. So it will not include Savila, and the new guy, Namang, or the new ape tank, right? So you're going to get access to my weekly event tracker for new free-to-play, the hero tier list, as well as this one, which is the Piece de Resistance, how to gear every character in the game with video hyperlinks showing you exactly how to do it. So I hope people can make use of this. And like I said, it's not perfect. It probably has mistakes in it. This is just how I currently gear all my characters and how I currently recommend to gear all my characters, but I know that there is points of contention in the community and points of ambiguity, like Anpu. I have him in Hawkeye and Light Gap. Some people are going to advocate for Hero and Hawkeye sets. Some people are going to say skip the accuracy on the head. If you want to know why I've geared them like that, then click on the video link below that guy's gear box. So I am continuing. Obviously, I don't have a video made for every character. I've kind of been slacking on gear guides and in-depth. I call them deep dives into each character. I will resume that to try to get caught up. So if you guys have access to this link, and it will be linked in every one of my videos, you'll always be able to access this, and I'm going to update it as things change. So like if eventually I'm not using this vigorous set for artists, maybe I'll change it to put Gluttony, if Gluttony is now the standard set, which I know, they still advocate vigorous for PvP, but they advocate Gluttony for PvE. So we can discuss that in my Discord if you have those questions. Luke, there's two different ways you can gear your Luke. If you've seen Gameplay Horizons videos. Otherwise, most of these are set in stone. A lot of characters can come in and out of light gap sets ish. Like I know Nagrama can have a light gap set, but really I think this is probably the best end game set for him, which is Sun Signet Overload. Build him like an attacker. Some things in game like Sorietta, I've seen people recommend not building Sorietta like this, but this is the correct build. Some people say he doesn't benefit from crit rate or crit damage. No, those people would be wrong. absolutely wrong. So some of the even in-game recommendations, like if you try to gear Sorietta, it is not going to recommend Sun Signet Overload sets, but those are the sets you want on them. And if you want proof, click on this video link that's below. Oh, and that is a Botmart video link. I got to fix that. So what did oh, yeah, definitely got to fix that one. Okay, all right, okay. So let me know if I make any of those mistakes too. So I thought maybe I'd put this out there for you guys. I'm going to try to throw it out to the wider community. I'm probably going to get a lot of criticism, but I got wide shoulders. I can take it. So hope you enjoyed this one, guys. Till next time, cheers, peace, bye-bye.